What up, dudes? Welcome back or not to another episode of R2D Tour Bros. We'll be kicking off episode 9 with a brand new segment. My name is Josh. I'm joined with my brother Tom. And the segment we're talking about today is inspired by the new Star Wars series that's claiming to be in development now, hopefully. A Star Wars What If series, which I believe you had said, Tom, that it's very similar to the Marvel What If series, which I have not seen.
Yes. Yeah, from what I've heard, like I said, they're talking about it. The idea started, I think it was like a fan idea, perhaps. But there was great success behind the What If in the Marvel universe, the MCU, that they all the fans are like, we need a Star Wars one.
Yeah, which is fantastic. So we're going to start our own. And today we're going to kick it off with what if Qui-Gon Jinn survived? And what if Luke and Leia were sent to their opposite families? And I believe there's going to be some connection and correlation between these two. Why don't we start with Qui-Gon? So what if Qui-Gon Jinn survived?
So I think the big thing would have been, I don't think Annie would have ever turned. I think it would have, I think he would have worked with Annie through his dark side.
Yeah.
You know, his feelings and stuff like that. It would have been a lot different.
I agree. I don't think he would have turned either. I don't necessarily know what would have happened to him. I mean, we're going to debate that, sure, or talk about that. But I do agree. I think that losing Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon was literally the only person who believed in Annie and wanted Annie. I think the entire council, the Jedi Council, said no. He was too old. He's got some pain. I forget the words Yoda and Mace Windu used, but
Ki-Adi-Mundi had some choice words that, you know.
Yes. Yeah, and Obi-Wan was against it as well, and Obi-Wan was just a Padawan at the time.
Yeah, he was just saying that because it was traditionally not done with a child of that age.
Yeah. Obi-Wan, I feel like, took that role of Qui-Gon out of respect for Qui-Gon. He didn't necessarily agree with it, and then became like a brother for Anakin.
Yeah.
So I think if
a brother or a cool uncle.
Yeah, so I think if Qui-Gon
everyone needs an Obi-Wan in their life.
Yeah, if Qui-Gon would have lived, there wouldn't have been a brother or cool uncle training Annie. There would have been was he was a Jedi Master at that time, or was he just
Qui-Gon?
a knight? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he was a master.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure he was on the council.
Yeah, so he would have had a Jedi Master training him instead of when he was brought on. He started out as a Padawan who just at the time of dying, he was, I think, promoted to a knight at the end of A Phantom Menace.
Yes. So, and it was just because he was about to take on the role. And I think there was like a moment where he was without Obi-Wan, because they would reference Obi-Wan about to go through the trials and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's right.
I believe he got it either right at the end of the film or shortly after the film.
Right. Yeah. So I do think, I think it would have been like for Anakin, the immediate things that I think would have happened is Anakin wouldn't have turned, and Obi-Wan would have probably furthered his training and become maybe even stronger because of Qui-Gon being there.
Yes.
And then from there, you have no idea what could have happened. Although what's that?
I think, real quick, I think that the Jedi Order would have not been a revolution per se, but there would have been a lot of changes in the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Because Qui-Gon was Dooku's apprentice.
Yeah.
And Dooku left because he saw the corruption. Qui-Gon saw the corruption too. Like he wasn't blind to it.
Right.
And I think that he would have saw that, and then he would have saw Annie's push for the dark side too, and maybe would have embraced it a little instead of just being pure light. Maybe would have started a third order per se.
Yeah.
Of Force users.
That's true. Annie could have been closer to like what a Mace Windu would have been.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Now the
No,
next,
I don't think they would have let him do that.
what's that?
Still, become what Mace Windu is,
Okay.
because he's still very emotional. I don't think Qui-Gon would have been able to pull that emotion out of him
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
fully.
Yeah.
He
Probably
would
would have.
have helped
Yeah.
him work through it, but not pull it out.
Yeah.
He would still have that emotion.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like Qui-Gon was truly Anakin's only. I don't know, the only person that was in Anakin's corner, and Anakin was saved literally because of Qui-Gon
Yeah.
from slavery. So I do believe that could have definitely happened. Now I think Anakin's mom, Shmi,
Hmm.
would have still died.
Yes,
So
but
that
I don't think that Qui-Gon, I think, knew the darkness within him and would have been more attentive to him,
yeah. And then could have been there when
helped him through it rather than just
right.
Obi-Wan being sent out on this mission without him.
Yeah. And I think Sheev or Palpatine would have not had as much influence on Anakin. I think Qui-Gon probably would have seen that they were spending so much time together if Palpatine was still trying to follow his same plan, and and
Yeah.
and it would have been
And I think Dooku would have had a lot of pull with it too,
yeah.
because Dooku respected and felt very deeply for the death of Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Like he was very remorseful about it, and he was hurting from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
I mean, it wasn't just
so
yeah.
Dooku, we can argue that Dooku may or may not have fully turned, or if that would have affected Dooku in any sort of way. But do you think if Qui-Gon lived, would Maul have survived?
No. I think Maul would have still died, and
I think
like I think he would survive. Like it would be the same plot. Like I think yeah.
I mean, he
Like
technically dies, right? Like for years and years, he died. He was cut in half, and he fell down the hole. He was dead. So
yeah,
that
but
that
apparently being cut
literally
in half doesn't stop you anymore.
no, but
But
that could
getting a
have
small lightsaber wound to the chest
yeah that
kills you.
that could
But
have
that's no longer canon, because they just keep stabbing people and everyone lives now.
right. Well, which is I think I talked with Gary. It wasn't on one of our episodes, but he had mentioned how frustrating it was to see in the Force Awakens how Finn gets struck fully in the back and he just gets burned
Yeah.
instead of killed.
They they nerf the lightsabers in there.
Yeah, for sure. So, but
They're
but
more like just hot swords rather than, laser beams that can cut through almost anything.
yeah. So I think like Maul's story could have been still similar, right? He could have
Yeah, I think Maul's
fallen.
story would have been the same. I think he would have still had this vendetta out for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
We'll just say like Qui-Gon was able to survive being struck in the chest rather than
Or if he just
just dying.
deflects it because he's a Jedi master. But
Yeah.
he still could have died, or I'm doing quotations with my fingers, died, and then they would have brought Maul back anyways, or could have brought Maul back anyways. So I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think that Qui-Gon living would have affected Maul in the outcome. I think it still would have been him
Yeah.
dying there, and then they bring him back later in another series. So do you think that Obi-Wan would have become as strong as he was? Or stronger?
See, that's hard because I feel like half of the reason why Obi-Wan had to become so strong was because he was thrusted upon all this power.
Yeah.
At, I mean, probably not as young of an age, but
I don't
and then
know.
he had to deal with the war that had to happen. I
Yeah.
still think that the Clone Wars would have happened.
Yeah, I think Palpatine would have still been trying to do his plan. It's
But
potential that Qui-Gon would have found out about, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting.
Cypherdius,
Yeah, and found out about that quicker and done something differently than Obi-Wan
Yeah.
did when he found out about it.
Yes. And I feel like I said earlier, I feel like Dooku would have had a lot to would have kind of been the mole and the separatist,
Yeah.
kind of giving it all the information back to Qui-Gon. Because Qui-Gon, like I said, Qui-Gon and Dooku were like Obi-Wan and Annie. Like they were
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, do you think that Qui-Gon Jinn would have become a Grandmaster?
No, I don't think he had the power level.
Okay.
I don't think he would have been better than Yoda.
But Yoda was aging out.
Maybe. I mean, we always had Yaddle to take over for Yoda.
We don't know much about her. Is that right?
Yeah. No, we kind of do. We know that she is about 600 years younger than Yoda,
Okay.
and I think she was set up to be the next Grand Master.
Okay.
There was I think it's Tales of the Jedi.
Okay. I don't think I've seen
Highly
all of
recommend.
those.
Yeah, it goes into Ahsoka's story,
I've seen that one.
like pre and then
Mhm.
post,
Yep.
and then it goes into the fall of Dooku.
Ah, that's the one I have not seen. I should check that one
And
out.
that's where you see what happened to Yaddle.
Okay. I should check that one out. I've seen the Ahsoka one because I really like Ahsoka. Kind of like she's your favorite character. She's like on one of my top lists because I don't know,
Yeah.
she's just cool. She's not the strongest by any means.
Yeah.
She's not the best at anything, but she's just really cool. I need to
Yeah, I
check
think
that out with the Dooku
I
or the whatever that one was.
yeah, I believe Yaddle was supposed to be the next Grandmaster.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, do you think that Palpatine would have succeeded or succeeded, let's specifically succeeded in the same way he did?
I don't think he would have been able to turn Annie, so no.
But it's possible that, I mean, because the dude has clearly shown some incredible power and
Yes, I
lives
think he
forever.
would have come out and been the leader of the Separatists
Hmm.
once he realizes that he can't win against Annie
Yeah.
and the Republic. I think he would have switched sides and been like, I am the Sith, like fully
Yeah.
would have found some other apprentice equally as powerful. Not equally, but
Yeah. Now, here's a
I don't think
question.
it would have been Dooku. I don't think it would have been Maul.
Yeah. Here's a question then. So, Plagueis was still alive at least until 3/4 or so of the way through the Phantom Menace. Is it the Phantom? The Phantom Menace. Would would Palpatine have killed Plagueis?
I think he still would have.
Yeah, I think that's the way of that's just the point. I think the
That's his character. He would kill whoever just to gain power.
well, I
I
think
mean,
since Bane, it's been the rule of two, and then it's just been I don't know what they're called. The Padawan, the trainee becomes the master because they kill the master and then they take on another Padawan
yeah,
or whatever the Sith version is.
yes,
So
apprentice.
apprentice, yeah. So Palpatine could have still succeeded in some way, just possibly not the exact same way, or he could have still remained in the dark for a while.
I don't think so.
You think that he would have been found out as the Sith
Yeah,
Lord?
because I feel like Dooku would easily have, you know,
Yeah,
he wouldn't, because they would have put Qui Gon up against him
yeah,
eventually. You know, like they're not Dooku's not going to kill Qui Gon.
yeah,
He respected him way too much,
yeah,
and vice versa. Qui Gon wouldn't have killed him either.
yeah. Same way as Obi-Wan wouldn't kill Anakin
Didn't kill
twice.
Annie. Yeah, yeah. He can't. I mean, it's and I
Actually,
don't
three
think
times.
Annie.
Three
Yeah,
times. He fought him at least three times in the films. Well, no, not just the films, but he fought him. He fought him once or twice in the
twice in
films, and then
films,
once
and then
in
once in the
Obi-Wan series.
Obi-Wan series. Yeah, I don't think he. there's such a bond between them.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah. It's very, you know, it's possible, or I think the unwritten plot story, or not unwritten, but I guess not directly told, is that Anakin kills Obi-Wan on the Death Star, and that was the start of pulling him back towards the light side.
Yeah.
And then obviously Luke helped. I think since we kind of know that Vader was just blindly following anything Palpatine said, pretty much until he kills Obi-Wan. You see snips of him almost not fully agreeing with Palpatine at times in the original trilogy, and then more so at the very end when he's pretty much asked to kill Luke and then doesn't. It's almost like he killed his best friend or big brother, cool uncle, whatever Obi-Wan was, and didn't want to do it again for his son. So I think that was the start of turning Anakin back. But okay,
Yeah.
we've gone way off topic. We're going into what actually happened. So Palpatine could have still succeeded.
I don't think it would have been the same way.
Not in the same way. Yeah.
I think he would have, like I said, I think he would have hopped back over to the Separatist side and would have led the march against the Republic.
Yeah.
And that could have been his ploy, being like, look at how corrupt the Jedi are. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
These are who are fighting for you. The Separatists are fighting for democracy. Let's go for them.
Yeah. Right.
And he could have gotten a couple other planets and systems with him that way.
Yeah. Now, do you think... I think if Qui-Gon lives, I don't think Luke and Leia would have been born.
I think they would have been.
You think that he still would have fell in love with Padme?
Yes.
I feel like... how do I put this? I feel like Qui-Gon would have steered him away from that.
No, I think he would have told him to embrace his emotions and maybe leave the Order. Go learn how to be not a Jedi, but learn to use the Force.
Yeah. Okay, so you think Leia and Luke would have still been born? I don't.
I think that eventually, like Qui-Gon and maybe Dooku, and probably he would have taken, I don't know if he would have taken Obi-Wan over,
Yeah.
but he could have gotten a lot of Jedi over to see the corruption in the Jedi Order, maybe restructure it,
Yeah.
make it less blind,
Right.
maybe, or create a new order, like I said earlier, like a gray Jedi per se.
Yeah.
And then I think if he would have restructured it, I think it could have been like that's how we would have gotten Luke and Leia.
Yeah. Now, how about this? Because the entire theory of a Force ghost was created. Well, I guess they tried to explain it in the Clone Wars, which is created by Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Not created by. Discovered by.
Discovered, right. Discovered
Yeah.
and then shared
That
by
ability
Qui-Gon.
was always there. And then, and then he shared the knowledge with Yoda.
Right.
And then Yoda shared it with Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So, and then Anakin just fucking does it. So, anyways, but
because he's a badass. Anyways.
He's like, oh, I see you guys, what you're doing. I can do that. Okay, so do you think...
No training, just
right.
the chosen one.
Do you think that the discovery of Force ghosts would have happened if Qui-Gon lived?
Yes.
Because even Yoda didn't know.
It would be way when he dies. I think he still would have discovered it.
Yeah, that's fair. When he
dies.
Yeah, which is yet to be seen. I mean, if he lives, it could have been years later.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think he would have. And I don't know. He might have reached out to Obi-Wan again.
Yeah, you know what? It could have
Yoda again.
It could have been that Qui-Gon lives, Yoda dies not too terribly long later. I mean, it was enough, like what like 19, 20 years or so?
I think it's like
or
25
25. Yeah, because it would have been a few years. Yeah, it would have been when Anakin was
because they were
little.
19
They were not. Yes.
when um A New Hope started, and then
Right.
it was about 5 years.
Or yeah, plus the age of Anakin. Or wait. Yeah.
Nope, it would have just been 19
Oh, 19. Well, no,
after
because
Order
Anakin.
66.
No, because you got to go back because it would have been Anakin would have been a kid. He would have been 9. So there's that timeline before Luke and Leia were born, the age of
Yeah,
Anakin, right? So and then plus the
yeah.
gap between
I
Empire
think
Strikes
Yoda still
Back.
would have died at the same time,
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So it would have been like 20 some 25, maybe even
about
closer to
25 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
And Yoda could have still died at the same time, and Qui-Gon potentially would have outlived him, which means Yoda would not have learned how to do a Force Ghost until after Qui-Gon died,
So
and
it wouldn't
then
have been Yoda that he reached out to. It
would have been
probably would have been
Obi-Wan.
Annie or Obi-Wan.
Yeah, yeah,
Most
but
likely it would have been Annie because Annie would have outgrown
yeah,
Obi-Wan. If Qui-Gon lived, he would have, worked with Annie to harness his powers better,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, which making
actually
Yoda,
would have been a father figure and,
yeah,
rather
Yoda
than
could have still learned, but it would have been probably after he died when he learned if Qui-Gon
become
lived.
one with the Force. Yeah, I think maybe he and Qui-Gon discover it around the same time.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Yeah,
I think Luke and Leia would have been a completely different situation too.
yeah, for sure.
I think, like I said, I think they would have survived. I think they would still be characters,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
What if Luke and Leia were switched? Now, let's say everything happened the way it did, and Luke and Leia in Revenge of the Sith were switched to adopted families. So that would have been Lars taking Leia and Bail taking Luke, right?
Yes,
What do you think would have happened then?
I feel like their characters would be the same, just
Like their core values? Yeah.
yeah. Although I don't know if Luke would have done all the stuff that Leia did. Like she was part of the rebellion
And Resistance.
and the resistance later. I think he would have if the rebellion, like I'm talking the original trilogy right now,
Right.
because Leia really you got to see that in Rebels.
Yeah.
Leia was, she was starting the rebellion and
Right.
going in, and I don't remember what episode it was off the top of my head. But you do get to see her like kind of starting some shit, and
Yeah, she was very political and very much an advocate.
I don't think Luke would have been like that.
I agree. But then you could do the same thing that I don't think Leia would have become a pilot or done necessarily all of the, I hate to do this, but the stereotypical man things on the farm. I
Yeah.
don't think she would have been out piloting. I don't think she necessarily would have been able to work on droids because of her
I think she would
personality.
have.
Maybe.
I think she adapts to any situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she would have had to pick that stuff up.
Yeah, she
living
would
on
have
the
had to have
farm,
done some things. Yeah.
I don't think she would have been as in tune with it as Luke.
Right. Whereas Luke wouldn't have been as in tune to following Bail in the Senate and political side.
Yeah.
Do you think Luke would have helped start the rebellion?
I think Luke would have still had the social justice
Uh-huh.
that he has. Like he wanted to join the rebellion on the farm. He wanted to go fight against the Empire.
Yeah.
And I think Bail Organa would have had a big say against that because Bail and Mon Mothma are one of the two that started the rebellion in like right after Order 66. Like they started collaborating together. It was them and a bunch of other planets started collaborating together, trying to figure out ways to politically take them down, and then it just turned into a rebellion and a war.
Yeah. Well, I think it all starts with Padme. I think Padme was pretty much the start of everything, right?
The death of Padme, yes. I think that she turned into a martyr for the rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was the one that was trying to go against.
She didn't want the Empire.
No, she was the one that recognized
But,
that, trying
but
to go
there we
against
go,
it.
Jar Jar.
Yeah, exactly. Now, would the Skywalker saga have revolved, at least in the original trilogy, would have revolved around Leia as much as it did with Luke?
Yes. But I feel like there might have been another Jedi watching Luke too.
Okay.
Because Luke is a more powerful Jedi than Leia.
But they wouldn't
Just
have
in
known that
general.
at birth, right? Or
They
would they
would
have?
have.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, that's when they come in. That's how when Ahsoka was grabbed was at birth, essentially. I mean, she was less than a year old
Yeah, that's
when they
true.
came in and took her. I think they would have realized that the midichlorian count was there. They would have tried to reach out to another Jedi. I don't think it would have just been um, Yoda, and maybe Yoda would have gone to with them, and Luke would have gotten training young, or they
Yeah.
reached out to another surviving Jedi. I don't know who.
Yeah, it's hard to say who. I almost think that Yoda still, like, if everything happened the same way it did in,
I think Yoda would have still gone to
yeah, because that's
Dagobah.
yeah, that's kind of the theme, right? The theme is for a Jedi, or at least for the two big Jedis that are in those stories, they fuck up, they mess something up, and then they go into exile. Failed I have, into exile I must go. I think that still would have happened, like you said.
Yeah,
So I think you're right. He probably still would have gone to Dagobah, gone into exile. Same thing Luke did later on.
yeah,
That seems to be the Jedi way when they don't win or when they fail miserably. Although I don't think Yoda failed quite as bad. Well, I don't know. He feels like he was the Grand Master and didn't see Palpatine and Plagueis plotting the whole time, and I think he tried to fight him and then lost, and that's maybe not
yes.
quite as bad as what
Yoda is
Luke
not
did. Or
um a lightsaber duelist, which is what Palpatine was, which is why he was losing.
yeah,
He kept him on his feet, wouldn't let him use the Force because I think he knew if he would have used the Force, because you even see like Yoda grabs, like absorbs the lightning and all that stuff,
yeah,
and like he's like obviously we can't, or that was against Dooku, but I think the same holds true. Is like obviously we can't win with our knowledge of the Force, so we must use lightsabers.
yeah. I feel like
Which I'm
Yoda goes into
yeah,
exile because he feels almost responsible for letting Order 66 happen.
which I mean he did. His arrogance in the Jedi Order and the
Right.
superiority. I think that was what caused it.
Would Obi-Wan have gone to Tatooine with Leia?
I think he still would have gone to Tatooine.
If
I
you're
think that was his exile.
if your I guess if your point would have been true
Because
that another Jedi or somebody would have been put with Luke because he was recognized at that early age as being stronger in the Force than Leia, why wouldn't Obi-Wan have followed Luke and another Jedi gone with Leia?
it would have drawn a lot more attention. Because Alderaan is a very popular planet, very populous. I think Tatooine would have been the better hiding planet. The Outer Rim. It's run by the Hutts. It's not run by the um the Empire at all at that point.
Yeah. Now,
I
now he
I
does
don't.
go back. He goes and helps Leia. Young Leia. He goes
Yeah,
on
he
missions
does.
with young Leia. So it's maybe not too unreasonable to think that he would have just gone to Alderaan in hiding. But you're right. I
It
think
would have been a lot harder.
he went to exile first and the plan wasn't necessarily to train Luke
No,
at
he
the
was
first.
just there to make sure nobody grabbed him because he was more powerful.
Yeah. Do you think
He is.
do you think Leia would have become a pilot like Luke?
Um, yeah, I think she would have
She still would have been on the farm,
learned.
and then
She would have had to learn. She would have been a better pilot.
yeah, she would have had
Um,
access to all the same stuff that Luke had.
yeah, I think she would have been a pilot. I don't think she would have been as passionate about it as Luke,
Yeah.
but I think she could give Han a run for his money
Yeah.
because I do think she still would have gotten some Force abilities at that early age. Would have been
Yeah.
exposed to it. I think Obi-Wan would have cared for her more than he would have for Luke.
Yeah.
I think. I feel like
Well, yeah, you're
although
right. In the Obi-Wan
uh,
series, I mean, he goes all the way back to help Leia. So you're
yeah,
very right. I mean, very true that
but
he
I don't
could
know
have.
about what if Owen would have let him near though. That's the other thing.
Ah,
Because Owen would not let him near at all.
right, right.
See him
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
true.
Bail Organa would have let him.
Right.
It's just he didn't want because if Bail Organa would have known, would have been caught with Obi-Wan, then him, his wife, Leia, Obi-Wan, like the whole government would have just been killed. Any collaborators, like, would have just been all killed. Like, and he knew that, so that's why I believe in the Obi-Wan show. He was like, "You can't be here. Like,
Yeah.
I love you, man, but like, you can't be here."
Yeah. Now, do you think Leia would have become as strong in the Force as Luke?
No,
Would she have become a Jedi Knight?
not yes, but
Okay.
not as strong. I don't think Leia had the potential to be as strong, but I think she, could have been up there, and I think that those two would have, like restarted the Jedi Order together rather than just Luke, and then Luke then training her.
Yeah.
I think they would have started it together. Maybe found some holocrons to have access to all that stuff.
Right. Now, who do you think would have went to watch over Leia then? Or Luke on
I
Alderaan?
think
I mean, because at that time, they knew Obi-Wan was still alive because he was there. Yoda was still alive because he was there.
they didn't know who was still alive.
They didn't know who else
Maybe
was
they
still
would have
alive.
sent Ahsoka, like contacted Ahsoka, because she's, it's not like she was in hiding at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have
I
been
I I
true.
I feel like Ahsoka could have been a good because Ahsoka went to um Padme's funeral.
Yeah, and Ahsoka ended up meeting up with Luke later in the or
He, I don't remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Mandalorian?
about. It
Boba
was either
Fett?
the Mandalorian. No,
I don't
I think it
remember.
was
One of those
Mando.
shows.
Yeah,
She obviously has known Luke, had met with Luke, but that was at least after Luke became a Jedi Knight. So, yeah, you're right. They could have found Ahsoka and had her go to Alderaan to look over Luke.
yeah.
I don't know who else they would have done. I mean, so far, any other Jedi or Padawan that survived,
They
other
were
than Ahsoka,
Padawans.
other than Ahsoka, would not
I mean,
have
Ahsoka
been.
was still a Padawan when she left, but
But she was older.
she's
She was
yeah,
older
she was
than
about to start going through the trials
yeah.
before Order 66 happened.
And Kanan's another one who survived. Whoever else has survived has never been as strong as Ahsoka was, unless somebody else comes back because they like to do that.
I hope they bring Mace Windu back.
That'd be cool.
I mean, he'd be a fun person to bring back and
Yeah,
show.
he died less gruesomely than Maul, and they brought Maul back.
Yeah. I mean, he just got shocked a little bit and thrown out a window.
Yeah,
Maul
Maul
fell
got
down a bottomless pit in half.
in half. Yeah.
Hell, you know what? Palpatine got shocked by a little bit and fell down a bottomless pit. He should be fine. And he came back.
Yeah,
Let's bring back Mace Windu.
they very well could. Oh, I doubt they
I
will, but they could.
They should.
They should. That is a good point. They
Mace would have
should.
been a yeah.
But then
I
what
feel,
do you do? Like if you bring Mace back, he was so strong. What's his
he
story?
wouldn't have been able to hide. Yeah,
What would he would have
they would be
done?
able to. They would be able to sense him
Yeah.
too quickly. The Inquisitors,
Yeah. I mean, I
they had
think
a hard time sensing Ahsoka.
yeah. I think he would have been able
So
to
I
handle
mean,
himself against anything they sent to Mace, but like you almost like Maul, they
but as
wrote a
soon as
whole
they found out about Mace, they would have, destroyed Alderaan.
yeah, they wrote a whole
I think
story about
Alderaan.
Maul
Yeah,
coming back, but Maul coming back almost doesn't even affect the story.
yeah.
So
I
Mace
mean,
coming
you
back
get
would
a
have
good.
had to affect the story.
Oh, 100%.
So it would have to be something like Mace went into worse or more of an exile than Yoda, and then I mean, how old was Mace when he died? Because you'd almost have to bring him back as like a really old man at some point, and then had no effect on the story for whatever reason, which means then it's not even that compelling of a plot
It was
line.
67.
Yeah, so he likely, I mean,
Oh wait, hold on.
his you could write something where he went and
53.
okay.
I'm getting a couple different ages right now.
You could write something where Mace comes back and then had some sort of like I don't know, interference with some of the missions on the side or something, but then it wouldn't have actually changed any of the plot lines.
Yeah,
So you could bring him back as like a cool story, but him surviving still may not have actually done anything.
yeah. I agree. I think his death was very. It was kind of shitty how he died, but it was still like a yeah. You can't let him survive.
Yeah. Well, I mean at the time of writing, it was almost planned that no Jedi from the Order survived, right? Except for Obi-Wan and Yoda. I think at the time of writing Revenge of the Sith.
Maybe they would have brought back Plo Koon.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying. Because at the time of writing, Ahsoka wasn't alive, Kanan wasn't a thing. The only Jedi
Yeah,
that were written to have been
ever.
alive and thought to have been alive until much later they decided to change the plot was other people, but it was only Obi-Wan and Yoda. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's shitty the way some of them died, but they were planning to kill everyone except for those two.
yeah. I don't know. I think Mundi definitely just died, but I don't know
How old
Plo
was he?
Koon.
He was older.
Yeah,
He had to
he
have been
also
older.
had a bunch of kids too. By the way,
Oh, really?
yeah, which you never see them die.
Huh. Were
He
they
had
younglings
3 wives.
in the order?
No, no.
Okay.
His race, the gestational period is so long.
Oh, okay.
It's like years, and it takes so long for them to mature.
Okay.
But they only live like as long as a human. I wouldn't say
Okay.
it's something like that. It takes so long. Their species just can't reproduce as fast, or
Okay.
maybe there's more males than females in their species. But he was one of the only Jedi that were allowed to procreate. So he had multiple wives and had multiple children with them.
Yeah.
So maybe Mundi's kids survived.
Yeah. Which they could still write that in, although they would have zero training from anybody. You would have to write
Yeah.
somebody showing them things.
Yes. I wouldn't want to see that because I don't like Mundi.
Yeah. All right. What else do you think with Luke and Leia?
I think that if they switched, I feel like the events would have still unfolded the same way. They would have just had different skills.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Leia would have been on the turrets helping.
Yeah.
Like Luke and Leia would have split up and would have like kept Han on the turrets or you know like Han and Luke would have gone to the turrets while Chewie flew, but it would have been really Leia flying because she's got force sensitive abilities now.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have been able to discover the force a lot sooner
Than she did, sure. I think if they switch. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say because I think she would have still gone to Tatooine, and that's still where Obi-Wan would have gone.
Yeah, you're right. Now I think like if they would have switched, to your point, each of them wouldn't have been as prevalent in the story that actually happened. So Luke wouldn't have been as into all of the politics, still could have and would have done some of the things, but not been as much as Leia, and then Leia would not have been as much of a Jedi as Luke.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the plot would still be the same, but it would be just them with different skills.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up episode 9. Our new What If segment was quite a bit of fun, asking what if Qui-Gon lived and what if Luke and Leia were switch families at birth. We are going to continue this segment and do more what ifs in the future, so that's going to be very exciting and fun to continue this. Thank you a lot for listening or not to another episode of the R2 Detour Bros podcast. Next episode, we are going to talk about the Jedi. Anakin said in I don't even remember which movie, but Anakin at one point said that Revenge of the Sith. Anakin said that the Jedi are evil or something like that. So we're going to ask, are the Jedi evil like Anakin said? We're also going to ask on the same-ish topic, why are religious warrior cults such as Jedi and Sith allowed to continue to operate when they keep causing universe-ending events every other decade? And then, do the Sith Inquisitors violate the rule of 2? Go ahead and vote on this week's poll. Are you excited for the new Disney series, The Star Wars What If? And also let us know in the comments any of your thoughts on this episode's topics, and if you have any other comments about the new Disney series.